voices you shouldn't hear.
Before we begin, this is your final preparation. Find complete solitude. Dim every light. Put on your best headphones, the kind that wrap around your ears like a protective cocoon. Close your eyes and keep them closed for the next 30 minutes. This isn't entertainment. It's a seance. You're not just hearing about Shadowwood. You're being transported there. Every breath of mist, every creaking floorboard, every whispered name in the dark is designed to make your mind's cinema more vivid than any screen. For 30 minutes, you belong to the fog. You belong to the mine. You belong to the curse. Breathe deeply. Feel the cold Oregon air fill your lungs. Taste the copper of old blood in the mist. The journey to Shadowwood begins. Now. Chapter 1. Highway to Hell. The interstate ends where hope dies. Mile marker 247 dissolves into gravel, then dirt, then something that might charitably be called a road if you squint through enough fog. Ava's knuckles have gone white on the steering wheel, not from the serpentine curves, but from the growing certainty that some roads are meant to be one way. Cole fidgets with his camera in the passenger seat, making jokes that fall flatter with each mile. GPS says we should have reached civilization 20 minutes ago. Think we took a wrong turn at Albuquerque? Jules, wedged between equipment cases in the back, clutches her grandmother's quartz pendant and mutters protection prayers in 3 languages. She's been doing this since they passed the last cell tower, 47 miles back. The van's headlights carve weak tunnels through fog so thick it has texture, grabbing at the windshield like grasping fingers. Ancient Douglas firs press against the road, their branches scraping the van's roof with sounds like fingernails on chalkboard. There, Ava whispers, pointing through the murk. A weathered sign emerges from the mist. Shadowwood, population, elevation, forgotten. Established, too long ago. Someone has spray painted over the population number, in dripping red, unknown. Chapter 2, Town of Broken Dreams. Shadowwood reveals itself gradually, like a photograph developing in poisoned chemicals. Victorian houses sag under the weight of their own decay. Wraparound porches rotted through, windows boarded, or simply missing, dark sockets in skull-white faces. The main street stretches 6 blocks, each one emptier than the last. Storefronts display faded signs. Morrison's General Store, closed temporarily since 1987. Shadowwood Bank and Trust, deposits insured by hope alone. A barber shop with the pole still spinning, though the cord clearly isn't plugged into anything. Missing person flyers paper every telephone pole, their faces bleached white by weather and time. But look closer, some show the same person at different ages, as if they'd been disappearing and reappearing for decades. The crew parks outside the Shadowwood Inn, a 3-story monster of gingerbread trim and gothic ambition. The porch swing moves in the still air, squeaking a rhythm that sounds almost like a lullaby. Charming, Cole mutters, shouldering his camera bag. It's like Stephen King and Tim Burton had a baby and abandoned it in the woods. Jules points to their van's windshield. In the condensation, someone has drawn a symbol. Not with their finger, but from the inside, as if the fog itself had turned artistic. Chapter 3. The Greeting Committee. Pastor Ezekiel Clay emerges from the fog like a Victorian ghost, all hollow cheeks and knowing eyes. His smile is too wide, his handshake too long, his gaze too penetrating. "Welcome home, Ava," he says, though she's never met him before. "Your sister used to sit in my front pew. Sweet girl. Terrible shame about her departure." Mayor Thomas Brooks appears next, flanked by two townspeople who never introduce themselves. Brooks wears a suit 20 years out of date and shoes that squelch with each step, though the ground appears dry. Documentary, is it? Brooks's laugh sounds like gravel in a cement mixer. Hope you brought enough film. Stories here have a way of multiplying. The unnamed townspeople nod in unison, their eyes reflecting the van's headlights like animals in the dark. Behind them, more faces appear in windows, pale ovals floating in the darkness, watching without blinking. When Ava counts them, she gets a different number each time. 7, 13, 23. Too many. Where should we start? She asks, her documentary instincts warring with the growing dread in her chest. Pastor Clay's smile widens impossibly. Why, with the dead, of course. They're far more talkative than the living. Chapter 4. The Inn of Lost Souls. The Shadowwood Inn's lobby exists in permanent twilight, lit by candles that never seem to burn down, and electric bulbs that flicker with their own mysterious rhythm. The guest registry sits open on a desk carved from what looks like a single, massive tree stump. Ava flips through the pages, names dating back to 1892, written in identical handwriting, despite spanning over a century. The most recent entry, from 3 days ago. The Morrison family, room 7, checking out Thursday. What day is it? Cole asks suddenly. Jules checks her phone, then her watch, then her phone again. Both devices show different dates. I think it's Thursday. The desk clerk materiates from the shadows. A woman so ancient her skin appears translucent, veins mapping continents of sorrow beneath. She speaks in a voice like autumn leaves. Room 3 for you, dear. Your sister's old room. We kept it just as she left it. Ava's blood chills. She never mentioned her sister to anyone in town. The hallway to room 3 stretches longer than the building's exterior would suggest. Doors line both sides. Rooms 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, but never 7. Where room 7 should be, there's only a wall with scorch marks in the shape of reaching hands. Jules records ambient sound while Cole films. The playback reveals whispers in languages that predate English, counting backwards from numbers too high to comprehend. Chapter 5. Sister's Ghost. Room 3 hasn't been cleaned since Sarah vanished 15 years ago. Her clothes still hang in the closet. Her diary lies open on the nightstand. Her reflection lingers in the mirror even when no one stands before it. Ava reads the final diary entry aloud. The mind calls every night now. I dream of walking down, down, down into the earth, where the Watcher waits. He shows me beautiful things, all the people who've gone before, all the peace that comes with letting go. Tomorrow I think I'll stop fighting the dreams. Tomorrow I think I'll go home. Jules's EMM detector screams. Cole's camera captures orbs of light dancing around Ava's head like fireflies with malicious intent. The temperature drops 20 degrees in 10 seconds. In the mirror, Sarah appears, not as she was at 19, but as she would be now at 34. She mouths words that echo from behind the glass. He's waiting for you too. The mirror cracks. Just once, straight down the middle, but the sound echoes like breaking bones. Chapter 6. The Testimonies. The crew sets up in the town square for interviews. One by one, the survivors of Shadowwood share their stories. Widow Margaret Price, clutching a photograph of 7 deceased husbands. They all went the same way. Heard something calling from the mine, walked out in their nightclothes, never came back. But some nights I still hear their voices asking me to join them. Tommy Breslin, 17, aged far beyond his years. My friends dared me to spend a night in Shaft 7. I made it 3 hours before I ran. But down there, I saw my grandfather. He died when I was 5. He told me the mine keeps everyone who ever loved Shadowwood, forever. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the town's only remaining medical professional. I've delivered 13 babies in 20 years. None of them cried at birth. They just stared, like they were listening to something the rest of us couldn't hear. 3 families moved away after that. The babies, they started walking toward the mine before they could properly walk anywhere else. Each interview is interrupted by technical difficulties. Cameras shutting off, audio equipment picking up voices that aren't there, shadows moving independently of their casters.
Chapter 7. Lucinda's Revelation. Lucinda Thorne lives in a cabin that predates the town by decades, surrounded by circles of salt, iron nails, and dried herbs that smell of protection and desperation. Her eyes hold depths that suggest she's seen beyond the veil and chosen to return. Barely. Sit, she commands, pouring tea that steams with impossible colors. Listen, learn. Leave if you're smart, but I suspect it's already too late for smart. She tells them the true history. In 1887, silver was discovered in the Shadowwood Hills. The mining company, Blackstone Industries, built the town to house workers and their families. For 12 years, the mine produced wealth beyond imagining. Then came the accident, or what the company called an accident. Foreman Jonathan Blackwood had discovered something in the deepest shaft, a chamber that predated human civilization, filled with symbols that hurt to look at and whispered promises of power beyond comprehension. When the company ordered him to seal it off, he instead made a bargain with whatever dwelt in that darkness. 7 miners died in the accident. Their souls became the first payment on a debt that compounds with interest paid in the lives and souls of anyone who calls Shadowwood home. Every 7 years, the Watcher demands more, Lucinda explains, her teacup rattling against its saucer. 7 souls to maintain the pact, 7 signs to warn the town, 7 days from the first sign to the final taking. She points to Ava's locket, Sarah's locket, now hanging around her neck. It's begun to glow with soft, cold light. You're not here to make a documentary, Lucinda whispers. You're here to pay the debt your sister couldn't. Chapter 8, Sign 1. The Children's Choir. That night, Ava wakes to singing, not one voice, but dozens, children's voices harmonizing in perfect, impossible unison. The melody is hauntingly beautiful, but the words are in a language that predates human speech. She follows the sound through empty streets, past sleeping houses where no lights burn, but every window reflects the moon differently. The singing leads her to the town square, where 13 children stand in a perfect circle around the old fountain. But these aren't living children. Their clothes span decades. Depression-era overalls next to 1980s sneakers, next to Victorian pinafores. Their faces glow with inner light, and when they turn to look at Ava, their eyes are silver mirrors reflecting stars that shouldn't exist in Earth's sky. They sing one final verse, and this time, Ava understands the words. 7 to open, 7 to bind, 7 to leave the world behind. Sister's debt, sister's shame, come below and play the game. The children fade like morning mist, but their voices linger in the air. When Ava returns to the inn, she finds 13 sets of small muddy footprints leading from the town square to the mine entrance. Chapter 9. Sign 2. The Blood Rain. The second day brings weather that defies meteorology. Clouds gather in spiral patterns that hurt to watch directly. And when the rain begins, it falls upward before reversing course and crashing down as crimson drops that smell of copper and fear.
The blood rain doesn't fall everywhere, only on specific buildings, specific people, specific paths. It traces a map across Shadowwood, marking routes that all lead to the same destination, the mine. Jules discovers that her audio equipment picks up frequencies in the blood drops, voices speaking backwards, counting down from numbers that make her nose bleed when she tries to write them down. Cole films the rain pooling in the streets, forming symbols that shift and change when viewed through the camera lens. Some symbols match those in Sarah's diary. Others appear to be names. Names of everyone who's ever disappeared in Shadowwood, written in their own blood. Dr. Vasquez provides medical insight that chills them further. The blood isn't human, not entirely. It's got human markers, but also something else. Something that shouldn't exist. Chapter 10, Sign 3, The Shadows That Remember. On the third day, shadows begin operating independently of their casters. Ava's shadow walks ahead of her, leading her toward the mine. Cole's shadow operates his camera, filming angles he never chose. Jules' shadow covers its ears, as if trying to block out sounds only it can hear. But the most disturbing are the shadows without owners. Silhouettes of people moving through the town, going about daily routines that ended decades ago. A shadow woman hangs laundry that isn't there. A shadow man tips his hat to shadows of people who wave back with recognition. In the inn's mirror, Ava watches her shadow have conversations with Sarah's shadow. They seem to be planning something, but when Ava tries to read their lips, her reflection and her shadow argue, her reflection pleading, while her shadow points insistently toward the mine. Pastor Clay explains, "The dead here don't rest. They rehearse, practicing for the day when the living join their eternal performance." Chapter 11, Sign 4, The Animal Exodus. Every living creature flees Shadowwood in a single night. Dogs, cats, rats, birds, insects, anything with the sense to run disappears into the forest, leaving behind a silence so complete it has weight. The absence of animal sounds creates a vacuum that fills with other noises, whispers from empty buildings, footsteps on roofs where no one walks, the distant sound of mining equipment that hasn't operated in decades. Jules records the silence and discovers it's not silent at all. It's full of voices, speaking just below the threshold of human hearing. When she amplifies the recordings, they reveal a chorus of thousands, all chanting the same phrase, "Come home, come home, come home." Mayor Brooks admits the pattern. Every 7 years, the animals know to leave. Smart creatures, smarter than us humans who stay and pretend we have a choice. The final signs and confrontation. Chapter 12, Sign 5, The Awakening Dead. The fifth sign manifests at midnight when the town cemetery erupts with activity. Not zombies rising from graves, but something far more disturbing. The dead maintaining their daily routines, visible but translucent, continuing lives that ended years or decades ago. Ava watches miners walk to shifts at a mine that's been sealed for generations. Children play games with rules that predate known history. Families have dinner conversations about events that will never happen. The documentary crew realizes they can interact with these phantoms, but each interaction pulls them slightly out of phase with the living world. Colors become muted, sounds echo strangely, their own reflections begin to show signs of translucency. Dr. Vasquez, now speaking with the authority of someone who's crossed a line she can never uncross, explains, "The barrier between life and death is dissolving. Soon there won't be a difference. The Watcher's gift to Shadowwood, eternal existence without the burden of being truly alive. Chapter 13, Sign 6, The Mirror Plague. Every reflective surface in Shadowwood becomes a window into the mind's depths. Mirrors, windows, puddles, even the polished surfaces of spoons and car bumpers show the same view. Endless tunnels extending into darkness where shapes move with purpose and malevolence. Worse, the reflections begin to act independently. Ava watches herself in a store window, but her reflection is having a different conversation with a reflection of Sarah that Ava can't see directly. Jules sees her reflection signing documents she isn't signing. Cole's reflection operates equipment he isn't touching. The reflected world is organizing, preparing for something the living world can't prevent. Lucinda performs a desperate ritual to block the mirrors, but her efforts only delay the inevitable. The seventh sign comes whether we're ready or not, and when it does, Shadowwood either pays its debt or joins the eternal harvest. Chapter 14, 7, The Red Snow. As dawn approaches on the seventh day, snow begins to fall from a clear sky. But this isn't the white of winter, it's the red of arterial blood, falling in flakes that maintain their warmth until they touch the ground. Each snowflake contains a face, the face of everyone who's ever disappeared in Shadowwood, their expressions changing from terror to acceptance to something that might be gratitude as they melt into the earth. The red snow falls only on paths leading to the mine, creating a crimson carpet that glows with inner light. Following its trail becomes irresistible, not through compulsion, but through a growing understanding that this is the only path to peace. At the mine entrance, the Watcher finally reveals itself. Not a monster, but a presence so vast that describing it breaks language. It's the hunger that drives all consumption, the loneliness that seeks eternal companionship, the love that refuses to let go, even when letting go would be mercy. Ava understands that her choice was never whether to pay the debt, but how to pay it, as victim or as willing participant in something larger than individual existence. She steps forward into the red snow, her locket blazing with the light of every soul that's chosen this path before her. Behind her, the fog begins to lift from Shadowwood for the first time in 70 years. The documentary ends, but the story continues in every shadow, every reflection, every whisper of wind through abandoned places, where love becomes indistinguishable from curse. The recording stops, but if you listen carefully, you might still hear the red snow falling.